And the president is also escalating, vowing to take out, he says, an entire civilization. ABC's Ian Pannell is in Tel Aviv.
President Trump, without offering any evidence, saying the Iranian people support his threatened strikes. But while it's true that many Iranians have cheered the US and Israeli war, destroying power plants and bridges is going to make life even more intolerable for people who want change but seem powerless to bring that about.
The U.S. has already carried out strikes today on a key Iranian oil hub at Karg Island, and Iran continues to launch attacks across the region. An Iran-backed group based in Iraq and affiliated with Hezbollah announced its possible release of American freelance journalist Shelley Kittleson on the condition that she leave the country. Kittleson was abducted last week in Baghdad. In Georgia, a special runoff election, Democrats working to flip the congressional seat left vacant by Marjorie Taylor Greene. Democrat Sean Harris and Republican Clay Fuller are facing off. The crew of Artemis II is now on its journey back to Earth following yesterday's historic flyby of the moon and breaking the record for human space travel distance. Happening now, a space-to-space conversation between the 4 astronauts and the crew of the International Space Station.
Hey, International Space Station and Jessica, we have you loud and clear. How about us?
With both crews in all of the space missions.
We have you loud and clear as well, and we have BME TV up, so we have a view of you right now, and it is making us so excited. We feel like you're here with us.
The Artemis II crew, back in the Earth's gravitational influence, expected to return to Earth on Friday. You're listening to ABC News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-576-2024. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-576-2024. That's 800-576-2024.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
A new report out shows that states around the country where people tip the most and tip the least.
According to the restaurant technology platform Toast, the worst tippers are in some of the most traditionally liberal areas. Worst in the nation, California, followed by Washington, D.C. and Washington State, where tips average less than 18%. Delaware, West Virginia, New Hampshire, and Indiana diners are the best tippers, leaving approximately 21%. When it comes to tipping at fast food joints, when you get the little notice asking if you want to leave any tip at all, most diners leave just under 16%. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The search is on for a Michigan woman who set out with her husband on a sailing trip in the Bahamas. Brian Hooker says his wife Lynette fell overboard during rough weather. Authorities say it happened over the weekend off the coast of Elbow Cay. ABC's Victor Okendo has more.
The Michigan woman and her husband Brian were heading back to their yacht Saturday evening on an 8.5-foot long dinghy on Elbow Cay. Brian telling police they encountered poor weather when Lynette fell overboard, along with the boat key that prompted the boat's engine to shut off. Brian saying he lost sight of his wife after the current swept her away. He then paddled the dinghy back to Marsh Harbor, where he reported Lynette missing around 4 a.m. Easter Sunday.
Lynette Hooker's daughter, Carly Aylesworth, in a statement says her sole concern is to find out what happened to her mother and make sure there's a full and complete investigation. Michelle Franzen, ABC.
This is the News Radio KONP Noon Report.
Todd Ortloff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Tuesday, April 7th. Clallam County commissioners say gaps in tracking tribal land trust applications are making it difficult to follow what's being approved and what it could mean locally. During a work session yesterday, County Administrator Todd Milkey told commissioners it's been hard to match federal notices of application with final decisions from the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and in some cases, the county never received the original application at all.
From 2023 forward, there were 4 notices of decision where we never received the application. at all. And so we're trying to go back through, and it's like, okay, well, they made a decision, but we don't have the underlying application.
Officials say inconsistent documentation, including those missing parcel numbers, changing acreage, and limited mapping, often force staff to rely on legal descriptions just to determine whether the projects even line up.
You would think that it would be very easy to connect the notice of application with the decision. It is not. So, for example, the notice of application, they will list a case file number very specifically, but then when you get a decision, there's no reference to what the case file number is.
Most of the properties discussed involve smaller parcels near existing Jamestown Sklallam tribal holdings, including land around the Cedars at Dungeness Golf Course and areas adjacent to the reservation. In Blinn, the discussion comes ahead of a county work session, though, next week, when the tribe is expected to brief commissioners on a proposal to transfer the Dungeness and Protection Island wildlife refuges from federal ownership into tribal trust. The proposal includes more than 600 acres at Dungeness and about 300 acres on Protection Island and is being discussed with Representative Emily Randall at the federal level. Now, the tribe wants a letter of support from the county to do that. It asked for one from the city of Sequim last week, but the city council there delayed approving that request. Government Finance Officer Association, the 120-year-old nonprofit that represents public finance officials throughout the U.S. and Canada, recently awarded the city of Sequim with one of its highest awards. City staff in the finance department received the agency's Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for its 2026 budget. To get that award, the city had to satisfy internationally recognized guidelines for effective budget presentation. The guidelines are designed to assess how well the city budget serves as a policy document, a financial plan, an operations guide, and a communications device. The budget document was required to be rated proficient in all 4 of the categories and in 14 mandatory criteria within those categories to get the award. Sequim Finance Director Sue Hagner told KONP the GFOA has set a very high bar for cities to aspire to. She says she's proud of her team for applying best practices in everything they do. The City of Sequim 2026 budget is available on the city's website at sequimwa.gov. More news after this.
Losing a loved one is overwhelming. Your mind and your heart shut down. That's where Drennan and Ford Funeral Home and Crematory comes in. They took the burden off my family's shoulders and guided us through everything we needed to do. No pushy sales tactics or unanswered questions. They just held our hands and took care of everything we asked. That's why I will always recommend Drennan and Ford for end-of-life decisions. They handle the hurt like no one else can. Call 360-457-1210.
Looking for the next place to call home? Come tour Lavender Meadows in Sequim. Beautiful, affordable homes for active 55-plus adults. Our modern, low-maintenance homes give you more time to enjoy life. More than a home, you'll enjoy community, active lifestyle, value, and security. We're confident you'll appreciate the modern amenities too. Come tour Lavender Meadows in Sequim or online at lavendermeadowsmhc.com.
With so many choices for deliveries, how convenient is it that you've got an option for the perfect cup of joe too? Fogtown Coffee in Port Angeles delivers. We offer a no-cost delivery for orders to businesses of $20 or more within city limits. Call 360-504-3509 for delivery or download the Joe Coffee app. Just text coffee to 474747 and order ahead for store pickup. You can even schedule a specific time. Fogtown Coffee on Front Street, your front door coffee delivery headquarters.
In other news, the little burg of CQ here on the Olympic Peninsula is getting some big-time recognition. It's one of Airbnb's top 20 destinations for off-the-map traveling this year. There's a reason the list exists. According to Airbnb, rural towns are gaining popularity for travel destinations, with 86% of travelers saying they're interested in rural listings, and that number rises to 94% for Gen Z respondents. Airbnb describes as the kind of place where bald eagles are unremarkable and the salmon are legendary. Travelers to CQ can avoid the crowds of Olympic National Park's most famous trailheads and enjoy kayaking, exploring sea stacks at low tide, and watching gray whales during spring migration. Airbnb's America Off the Map list is the company's first list highlighting lesser-known and rural destinations that aims to boost local microeconomies with tourism from short-term rentals. A recall effort has been launched against Washington Governor Bob Ferguson, alleging he failed to fill 2 vacancies on the state's Public Disclosure Commission within the timeline required by law. The petition filed last week by attorney Connor Edwards claims Ferguson's inaction amounts to misfeasance and a violation of his oath of office. One of the commission seats has been vacant for most of Ferguson's term, which began in January 2025. With only 3 of 5 members, the commission cannot conduct official business unless all are present. A recent meeting was limited to discussion only due to lack of a quorum, raising concerns about the 2026 election cycle. Ferguson's office says it's working to fill the vacancies and will respond formally to the petition. Washington state officials say a recent audit uncovering an estimated $37 million in questionable child care subsidy payments did not find evidence of fraud. The State Department of Children, Youth, and Family said it has not referred the findings to the state's fraud investigators, noting that overpayments do not automatically indicate intentional wrongdoing. State Auditor Pat McCarthy confirmed, though, auditors found no conclusions of fraud, though the report identified many weaknesses in how payments were reviewed and approved. The audit found the agency often issued payments to providers before verifying required documentation, relying instead on reviews after funds were distributed. Auditors said the gaps contributed to improper payments during the last fiscal year. Lawmakers, including State Senator John Braun, say the findings raise concerns about oversight and accountability, especially the practice of verifying services after payment in all state holdings. Federal immigration agents arrested more than 2,100 people in Washington state between October and early March. That, according to newly released data. The figures point to a sharp increase in enforcement under President Donald Trump, averaging about 13 arrests per day over 5 months. The total accounts for more than half of all immigration arrests in the state since he returned to office. By comparison, about 2,200 arrests were made during a 14-month span under former President Joe Biden. Data shows only about a quarter of those arrested had criminal convictions, with another 26% facing pending charges. Gas prices in our state rising sharply following global supply disruptions tied with the war in Iran, but state leaders are unlikely to offer any relief through a gas tax holiday. Industry officials say the pace of increases since early March is the fastest since 2008, with some stations adjusting prices multiple times every day. Washington already has the 3rd highest gas taxes in the nation, some 55 cents per gallon, contributing to prices that are more than $1 higher than in neighboring states. Experts say additional costs are tied to the state's Climate Commitment Act, which industry data estimates adds another 55 cents per gallon of gas. While Georgia has temporarily suspended its gas tax and other states are considering similar moves, analysts say budget constraints make that very unlikely in Washington. State officials say options are being considered, but no specific relief measures have been announced. This is News Radio KONP.
Hi, it's Callie here from the Heartline. We're excited to be celebrating our 50th anniversary. To say thank you for a great 50 years, we're offering you 50 days of savings. Are you refreshing your yard or getting that garden ready for spring? Come in and get 50% off medium bark at the Heartline. That's right, 50 years, 50 days, 50% savings. Stop by or give a call, 452-3157. 452-3157. The Heartline, top of the truck route.
Are you thinking about a new roof, siding, or windows for your home? Give Tri-State a call. Tri-State installs GAF roofing products, James Hardy siding, and Pella replacement windows. And right now, Tri-State is offering huge savings. The first step is a free estimate. Call 360-208-2222 or visit tristate.pro.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
In 1983, Tom and Ida McEwen opened All Weather Heating and Cooling. Their vision for a family-owned and operated business with personalized customer service made them the #1 choice for your heating and cooling needs. In 2014, their daughter Janae and her business partner Dustin Halverson purchased All Weather. In preserving Tom and Ida's vision, customer service is still top priority and your only local authorized carrier dealer. All Weather Heating and Cooling, because everyone calls us.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Mainly clear this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 51. Winds out of the north 5 to 10 miles per hour. 39 tonight. Daytime highs approaching 54 tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 58 Thursday under sunny skies. 61 Friday. Take a look at the extended forecast. 55 Saturday, 53 Sunday, and 53 on Monday. Once again, we should top off around 51 today. Lows level off around 39 tonight. A high of 54 tomorrow. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, it's 48 degrees.
Another banner for Ann Arbor. Good morning. I'm Jay Reynolds. For the first time since 1989, Michigan is atop the men's basketball world. Wolverines capturing the title last night with a physical 69-63 win over UConn. Elliot Cadeau with 19 points. He's named the most outstanding player in Indy.
Man, it means the world to me. I'm just so proud of myself, where I came from. Last year I was really down on myself. A lot of people doubted me. And I'm just so proud of myself for me to be able to say I was the most outstanding player and win a national championship at the same time.
Big year for the Big Ten. Michigan wins the men's title, UCLA wins the women's, and Indiana won football. North Carolina reportedly filling its coaching vacancy, luring former Nuggets coach Michael Malone into the college ranks. Hasn't coached in college since he was an assistant at Manhattan 25 years ago. NBA Spurs beat the Sixers 115-102. They get their 60th win of the season, but Victor Wembanyama leaves in the second quarter with a left rib contusion. Nuggets outlast the Blazers in overtime, 137-132. Nikola Jokic, a 35-point triple-double. Fifth time he's done that this season. Cavaliers beat Memphis 142-126. Knicks topped the Hawks 108-105. Their first win in a month against a team above 500. Speaking of Atlanta, the Dream picking up two-time All-Star Angel Reese in a trade with Chicago. This guy getting a couple of first-round picks in return. Baseball World Series rematch goes to the Dodgers. They hit 5 homers in a 14-2 win over the Blue Jays in Toronto. Rockies an 8-run fifth en route to a win over the Astros. Nationals score 6 in the 8th, rally to beat the Cardinals. Phillies get past the Giants 6-4, scoring 4 in the 7th inning. Cal Raleigh gets his first homer of the season, but Seattle falls to the Rangers 2-1. Padres shut out the Pirates 5-0. Reds 2-0 over the Marlins. Rays 6-4 over the Cubs in their return to the Trop. First game there since September of 2024. Football, Dexter Lawrence requests a trade from the Giants.
In local sports, in high school baseball today, Port Angeles travels to Sequim for a 6:30 first pitch. The Wolves are 3-1 in Olympic League play, sitting in second place behind Bainbridge. They're a game ahead of North Kitsap. Port Angeles 3-3 overall. They're 0-3 in league. They're currently in last place. In soccer tonight, Sequim heads to Port Angeles for a 7:15 kickoff. The Rough Riders are 3-1 in league, in third place behind unbeaten Bainbridge and North Kitsap. Sequim is 2-3 in league. They're sitting fifth. In tennis, Sequim visits Port Angeles today. First serve will be at 4 this afternoon. Former Rough Rider catcher Zoe Smithson is putting together another all-conference season for the PLU Lutes. Smithson has started all 28 games at catcher or in the outfield, is hitting .299 with 26 hits, including 3 doubles and 4 home runs. She's driven in 16 runs, scored 10, drawn 10 walks, and is 11 for 12 in stolen base attempts. PLU is 21-7 overall, 13-3 in conference play. They've got a couple of home doubleheaders against Willamette this Saturday and Sunday. Well, Seattle Mariners dropped their third straight game last night, falling 2-1 to the Texas Rangers in Arlington. Seattle's only run came on Cal Raleigh's first home run.
Swinging a drive, deep to right field. There she goes. Goodbye, baseball. Number 1 for Cal Raleigh.
Seattle and Texas again this afternoon, 4 o'clock airtime here on KONP, brought to you by Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a cool, refreshing mountain dew. So give me my good friends, give me a dew.
Grab some friends and an ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
This is Ed from Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales. Our family has trucked hay to feed the hungry animals in Western Washington for 4 generations. In that time, we have built a growing legacy of serving the needs of our customers, and we've never stopped. In 2014, we ventured into the equipment world by becoming a dealer and service provider for Mahindra Tractors. Since then, we have partnered with quality brands such as Bad Boy, Aaron's Gravely, LS Tractor, Husqvarna, Snake River Trailers, and now Wacker Noyson Construction Equipment. We have a 3-base shop where we not only service the brands we sell, but we also work on most major brands including Kubota, John Deere, and New Holland. We carry a wide variety of parts, filters, belts, and fluids. We have a fully stocked hydraulic shop and can build hoses for most machines while you wait. Chainsaw or weed eater need some TLC, we work on small engines too. We even offer welding and fabrication services. We have been earning the Peninsula's trust for over 25 years with your animal's care, and we look forward to earning your trust with your equipment's care too.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Despite a Nikkei Asia report that Apple is seeing setbacks in the engineering test phase of the foldable iPhone, leading to shares in the tech giant falling as much as 5.1%, people with knowledge of the matter say the company's first foldable phone is in fact on track to arrive on schedule. Apple is scheduled to introduce the foldable model in September alongside the iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max, according to the report. Apple shares are down a little over 2.5%. Shares of major insurance companies such as CVS, United Health, and Humana are soaring, ranging from 6.5% to over 10% gains after Medicare announced it will pay private insurers almost 2.5% more next year. It's a big improvement over the initial rates the agency proposed in January. The payment change is expected to add up to over $13 billion in additional payments to Medicare Advantage plans next year. Markets still all in the red as traders wait to see what's next in Iran. The Dow and the S&P down around 0.4%, the Nasdaq down close to 0.6%. Dan Schwartzman, Bloomberg Radio.
Bad Boy Mowers' legendary reputation for build strength, performance, and value is now available with Bad Boy tractors. From mid-size to subcompact models, powered by 22 to 35 horsepower water-cooled diesel engines, your tractor work just got real. Easy on the farm, the ranch, or even around the house. Bad Boy tractors deliver on power and durability all day, every day.
Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales is your Bad Boy tractor dealer in Sequim.
Bad Boy tractors work with an attitude.
Sensitive to dust, mold, or allergens? You can breathe easier at McCrory Carpet One thanks to their Healthier Living installation system that features cleaner installation practices. Their HEPA vacuum system removes the old dust, and a Heathinex antimicrobial treatment is used before they install your new floor. If it's new carpeting in your home, they include their hypoallergenic premium cushion that inhibits the growth of mold and mildew. Best of all, there's no extra charge for this healthier install, only at McCrory Carpet One.
News Radio KONP, traffic and roads.
All right, let's head up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center now. That's where Steve's standing by. He's watching the noontime roads for us. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, not too bad out there. If you are making your way around the Port Angeles or Sequim area, fairly busy out there right now through the downtown area, especially in the Port Angeles, 1st Street, Front Street, coming across 8th Street. Just fairly busy or steady traffic right now. A little slow down at the lights, but other than that, we're doing good. Same thing in Sequim along Washington Street, Sequim Avenue, those areas. Fairly busy this afternoon. In fact, a little bit slow going along Washington, so just be prepared for that. If you're on the highway between the two cities, no real issues right now. It is busy, but traffic is moving along at the speed limit. Beyond the Sequim area right now, Hood Canal Bridge is good to go with no scheduled marine openings. State ferries are doing okay. They have a few issues out there up in the San Juans. Also, the Tacoma on the Bainbridge run's running about 10-15 minutes down. So just kind of expect some delays on the ferry system this afternoon. West End traffic should be a gorgeous drive for you. Things out there moving right along at the speed limit. So everybody take care. Enjoy your afternoon. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
Thank you, Steve. Sunny the rest of the afternoon today. Mid-50s for your highs. Clear tonight. Lows in the mid-30s to lower 40s. Another sunny day on the way for Wednesday and mid-50s. And Thursday also looking sunny with highs warming up into the mid-60s perhaps by Thursday afternoon. Right now across the North Peninsula, Port Townsend checking in at 51. Out at Forks, it's 56 now on the west end. Sequim's got 52. And out at Fairchild Airport here in Port Angeles, it's now 48 degrees. Well, the art of the stitch is going by the wayside. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics estimated nearly 2 years ago that there were fewer than 17,000 tailors, custom sewers, or dressmakers working in business establishments nationwide. That's a 30% decline from just a decade earlier. And it comes as demand is growing once again for tailored clothing. ABC's Michelle Franson has more.
It's getting harder to find a good tailor. Gone are the heydays of storefronts touting tailors and dressmakers ready to measure, cut, stitch, and hem clothing. The world of alterations altered due to ready-to-wear fashion and the craft aging out. One tailor in Manhattan who is in his 60s tells the Associated Press he's encouraging the younger generation, many who are his clients, to take up the craft, saying AI can't do everything, especially when it comes to a person's body and skills needed to get the right fit. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
From ABC News Tech Trends, artists, photographers, and musicians are increasingly having their work used to train large language models, says Overlay CEO Luke Newman.
I started to see this wave of disruption coming from AI and the way it's been set up and the way they've been training.
Overlay is an app designed to make it harder for AI companies to train models on online content.
Overlay is really just an app that assigns all the necessary metadata and new metadata as it comes along in this kind of evolving world to give creators as much protection as we can possibly provide.
And he says that's important because AI companies so far have largely avoided getting permission to use artists' work online.
I think AI companies really need to think long and hard about like how long they're going to need organic data and if they want to be messing with these fragile business models of the people out there capturing this stuff.
With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
We've been talking a lot lately about alcohol, and more research shows that no amount is beneficial for your health, and a lot of people are starting to cut back. You've probably heard this. But there are some people who can't seem to give it up, and experts we talked to about this said some people are just physiologically wired to take a drink and have their brain say, wow, more, need more of this. Others drink to escape psychologically, and maybe because they're self-medicating. They have ADHD or PTSD or low self-esteem, anxiety, depression. There's an old adage, if drinking is a problem, you've got a chance. If drinking is the solution, you've already lost. And at that point, you might need to get some professional help to stop drinking, or at least cut back. And that's nothing to be ashamed of. Yeah, it can be difficult, and some social situations will feel awkward at first, but it's only downhill from there. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
You know that Chick-fil-A sells more than chicken, right?
Hello, my name is Jaleesa, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit is how it's all of my favorite breakfast items in one good bite. That fluffy egg, that melty cheese with that perfectly grilled sausage, it just gives you that warmth, that comfort food that you love. It is the best possible option for a classic breakfast.
Comfort is calling. Order a Chick-fil-A sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit with Simply Orange Juice on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal. Book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America. Abraham Lincoln was our tallest president, 6 feet 4 inches tall. But if Abe Lincoln was already so tall, why did he wear such a tall hat? I'll tell you that story after this important message.
If you've been hearing my radio programs now for the last 20 years, you know that I've been telling the true stories of those who have followed God's ways to make America the greatest nation in the world. So what's the latest? Well, we're now doing this nation-saving work full-time, and we need your help by becoming one of our ambassadors, subscribing to All We Have for just $5.95 per month. To get what? Number one, full access to our amazing website that is full of over 100 true stories to teach us with these stories how America is to act and operate. We also have lessons for all ages to teach us what we must do now. And our children, they will be our nation's leaders very soon. I will have live presentations online for you to hear, maybe even to participate. And when must this all get started? Now. Call our offices today at 817-995-6965 or go to our website at www.jerrystewartusa.com and email our office. God bless you.
Why did President Lincoln wear that tall stovepipe hat? Well, according to Mr. Lincoln, for him it had a number of very practical uses. When he was on the road and he needed to write notes, he used it as a desk. And if he needed to store his date book or letters, he used the tall, stiff hat as a file drawer. And when he had an idea, he would scribble a note to himself and place it in his hat band. Very interesting. A hat that subs as a desk, a filing cabinet, and a briefcase. Maybe we should clear the furniture out of our offices and just use a tall hat. Nah. I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
Home affordability. Yes, it does exist here on the peninsula with Mountain View Homes. Looking for a quality craftsmanship home at 40% less than stick-built? Call Mountain View Homes. We specialize in affordable homes with full-service land packages, dirt to turnkey, quality, beautiful, and an efficient manufactured home on the site of your choice. Mountain View Homes has 3 locations to serve you, including Carlsberg. Visit mtviewhomes.com. That's mtviewhomes.com.
Hi everyone, it's Alicia Campion with Ridgeline Home Care Cooperative. We're a worker-owned cooperative. Our caregivers are owners, focused on dignity, trust, and supporting loved ones at home. Accepting care is about independence, not weakness. We care and support the life someone has already built. Join our team or trust us with your loved one's care. We're Ridgeline Home Care Cooperative, with you at home. Call 360-504-3837.
In 1959, Mount Pleasant IGS opened their doors. The newest neighborhood gas and grocery quickly became the one-stop shop for many. Mount Pleasant IGS is still a favorite. Times may have changed, like 25-cent a gallon gas and 20-cent loaves of bread, but the same hometown country store feel is still there, and their customer service is still top priority. From snacks, drinks, and fresh produce to automotive needs, electrical supplies, and fishing bait, Mount Pleasant IGS is still your one-stop shop.
There are a lot of choices when it comes to commercial mowers, and the truth is that not all mowers are created equal. Details make the difference. Skag mowers are designed and built to be simply the best. No cutting corners, no compromises. Just ultra-tough lawnmowers that beat the competition. So when you're looking to find the best lawnmower money can buy, look to Skag Power Equipment and the team at Port Angeles Power Equipment.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. The U.S. military struck targets on Karg Island, Iran's key oil export facility.
The strikes against the important oil hub came hours ahead of President Trump's deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. In a morning social media post, he said that a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again, if Iran did not make a deal by 8 p.m. Washington time this evening.
That is White House correspondent Greg Cluxton reporting. Meanwhile, Iran's president is hoping to use human shields to discourage those attacks that are threatened by President Trump. He's calling on Iranians to link arms in human chains surrounding power plants. Tehran has been pounded with more airstrikes with deadly effect, and Iran fired on Israel and Saudi Arabia. The Artemis II astronauts have traveled deeper into space now than any humans have before. They also went around the far side of the moon. Artemis Commander Rod Wiseman says the view from up there is something special.
The moon is about 3 to 4 times the size of the Earth, and it is almost full, and the Earth is just a small crescent out there. It's magnificent. I got a picture of it.
Vice President J.D. Vance on the campaign trail today, but not for Republicans.
The election to elect the next prime minister of Hungary.
Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban in a news conference today in Budapest, along with the Vice President, thanked the U.S. for its friendship.
We owe gratitude to President Trump and Vice President Vance for standing by Hungary during the past years. The United States of America is the strongest country in the world, and I am happy to say that they are our allies today. The peace and the security of Hungary, therefore, is guaranteed.
The ongoing war and disrupted oil supply led to an early slide on Wall Street. The Dow is still down right now by about 305 points. The Nasdaq off 211. More from townhall.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Michigan is number one in the final Associated Press Top 25 men's college basketball poll for the 2025-2026 season. That's after winning the program's first national championship in 37 years last night. Golf's most prestigious event has plenty of storylines this year.
The Masters is almost here. The first golf major of the year starts April 9th at Augusta National. Tiger Woods is a topic of conversation without even being there, with Jason Day on Monday wishing him the best in his recovery after his March 27th car crash and DUI arrest, but saying it was selfish of Woods to be driving. Woods entered a not guilty plea. 2018 Masters winner Patrick Reed is returning after a stint with Live Golf. Rory McIlroy is the defending champ after winning his first green jacket last year in a playoff. World number one Scotty Scheffler remains the betting favorite. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. If you're among those who use Samsung's texting app, there's a big change on the way.
Samsung Messages will be discontinued in July. Impacted owners of Samsung smartphones and other gadgets being asked to switch to Google Messages as their default in the meantime. The company says this will help maintain a consistent messaging experience on Android. All Samsung Galaxy phones run on Google's Android operating system. Users of older Android operating systems dating back to Android 11 and older will not be impacted. Rich Thomason reporting.
J.P. Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon warns a resilient U.S. economy could face renewed inflation pressures if the Iran war should continue to disrupt the global energy markets. Dimon says turmoil in oil and commodity markets could affect just about everything, from gasoline prices all the way to manufacturing costs. You'll find more of these stories at townhall.com.
This is the News Radio KONP Noon Report.
Todd Ortloff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Tuesday, April 7th. Clallam County commissioners say gaps in tracking tribal land trust applications are making it difficult to follow what's being approved and what it could mean locally. During a work session yesterday, County Administrator Todd Mielke told commissioners it's been hard to match federal notices of application with final decisions from the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and in some cases, the county never received the original application at all.
From 2023 forward, there were 4 notices of decision where we never received the application at all. And so we're trying to go back through, and it's like, okay, well, they made a decision, but we don't have the underlying application.
Officials say inconsistent documentation, including those missing parcel numbers, changing acreage, and limited mapping, often force staff to rely on legal descriptions just to determine whether the projects even line up.
You would think that it would be very easy to connect the notice of application with the decision. It is not. So, for example, the notice of application, they will list a case file number very specifically, but then when you get a decision, there's no reference to what the case file number is.
Most of the properties discussed involve smaller parcels near existing Jamestown-Sklallam tribal holdings, including land around the Cedars at Dungeness Golf Course and areas adjacent to the reservation in Blinn. The discussion comes ahead of a county work session, though, next week, when the tribe is expected to brief commissioners on a proposal to transfer the Dungeness and Protection Island wildlife refuges from federal ownership into tribal trust. The proposal includes more than 600 acres at Dungeness and about 300 acres on Protection Island, and is being discussed with Representative Emily Randall at the federal level. Now, the tribe wants a letter of support from the county to do that. It asked for one from the city of Sequim last week, but the city council there delayed approving that request. Government Finance Officer Association, the 120-year-old nonprofit that represents public finance officials throughout the U.S. and Canada, recently awarded the City of Sequim with one of its highest awards. City staff in the Finance Department received the agency's Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for its 2026 budget. To get that award, the city had to satisfy internationally recognized guidelines for effective budget presentation. The guidelines are designed to assess how well the city budget serves as a policy document, a financial plan, an operations guide, and a communications device. The budget document was required to be rated proficient in all 4 of the categories and in 14 mandatory criteria within those categories to get the award. Sequim Finance Director Sue Hagner told KONP the GFOA has set a very high bar for cities to aspire to. She says she's proud of her team for applying best practices in everything they do. The City of Sequim 2026 budget is available on the city's website at sequimwa.gov. More news after this.
Your community-minded friends at First Fed bring you the Community Corner, highlighting good things happening right here in our area.
We are so fortunate to have exemplary senior centers in our area. Sequim Shipley Center and the Port Angela Senior Center are warm and welcoming spaces for seniors to feel safe and supported and part of the vibrant community. With programs tailored to seniors, our area senior centers offer opportunities for socializing, learning, and staying active. The dedicated volunteers provide a positive environment, assistance, and companionship, plus fitness classes, art workshops, educational sessions, and a place to meet friends. They're a great spot to grab a cup of coffee or a tea with a friend. More than a center, they're caring communities where seniors can thrive. Check them out yourself. PA Senior Center at 7th and Peabody and Sequim Shipley Center currently at East Hammond Street, with a future move to the former J.C. Penney building.
Community Corner, presented by First Fed.
Join us for Healthy Kids Day, happening April 18th from 10 to 1 at all Olympic Peninsula YMCA branches. Our free, family-friendly event is packed with fun. Navigate through obstacle courses, camp activities, wellness challenges, live demos, and more. Plus, register for our brand new summer specialty camps. No sign-up needed. Just show up and bring the whole family. Don't miss out on free goodie bags while supplies last. For more details, visit OlympicPeninsulaYMCA.org. See you there.
In other news, Little Burg of CQ here on the Olympic Peninsula is getting some big-time recognition. It's one of Airbnb's top 20 destinations for off-the-map traveling this year. There's a reason the list exists. According to Airbnb, rural towns are gaining popularity for travel destinations, with 86% of travelers saying they're interested in rural listings, and that number rises to 94% for Gen Z respondents. Airbnb describes as the kind of place where bald eagles are unremarkable and the salmon are legendary. Travelers to CQ can avoid the crowds of Olympic National Park's most famous trailheads and enjoy kayaking, exploring sea stacks at low tide, and watching gray whales during spring migration. Airbnb's America Off the Map list is the company's first list highlighting lesser-known and rural destinations that aims to boost local microeconomies with tourism from short-term rentals. A recall effort has been launched against Washington Governor Bob Ferguson, alleging he failed to fill 2 vacancies on the state's Public Disclosure Commission within the timeline required by law. The petition filed last week by attorney Connor Edwards claims Ferguson's inaction amounts to misfeasance and a violation of his oath of office. One of the commission seats has been vacant for most of Ferguson's term, which began in January 2025. With only 3 of 5 members, the commission cannot conduct official business unless all are present. A recent meeting was limited to discussion only due to lack of a quorum, raising concerns about the 2026 election cycle. Ferguson's office says it's working to fill the vacancies and will respond formally to the petition. Washington state officials say a recent audit uncovering an estimated $37 million in questionable child care subsidy payments did not find evidence of fraud. The State Department of Children, Youth, and Family said it has not referred the findings to the state's fraud investigators, noting that overpayments do not automatically indicate intentional wrongdoing. State Auditor Pat McCarthy confirmed, though, auditors found no conclusions of fraud, though the report identified many weaknesses in how payments were reviewed and approved. The audit found the agency often issued payments to providers before verifying required documentation, relying instead on reviews after funds were distributed. Auditors said the gaps contributed to improper payments during the last fiscal year. Lawmakers, including State Senator John Braun, say the findings raise concerns about oversight and accountability, especially the practice of verifying services after payment in all state holdings. Federal immigration agents arrested more than 2,100 people in Washington state between October and early March. That according to newly released data. The figures point to a sharp increase in enforcement under President Donald Trump, averaging about 13 arrests per day over 5 months. The total accounts for more than half of all immigration arrests in the state since he returned to office. By comparison, about 2,200 arrests were made during a 14-month span under former President Joe Biden. Data shows only about a quarter of those arrested had criminal convictions, with another 26% facing pending charges. Gas prices in our state rising sharply following global supply disruptions tied with the war in Iran, but state leaders are unlikely to offer any relief through a gas tax holiday. Industry officials say the pace of increases since early March is the fastest since 2008, with some stations adjusting prices multiple times every day. Washington already has the third highest gas taxes in the nation, some 55 cents per gallon, contributing to prices that are more than $1 higher than in neighboring states. Experts say additional costs are tied to the state's Climate Commitment Act, which industry data estimates adds another 55 cents per gallon of gas. While Georgia has temporarily suspended its gas tax and other states are considering similar moves, analysts say budget constraints make that very unlikely in Washington. State officials say options are being considered, but no specific relief measures have been announced. This is News Radio KONP.
Welcome to Volunteer Spotlight, sponsored by Jim Hagwood at PA Realty. This is Alan Barnard, and this Volunteer Spotlight shines on Captain Joseph House. This former landmark 3-story home was converted to a retreat for Gold Star families who have lost a military family member to combat while serving our country. Captain Joseph House provides a safe and peaceful environment for the Gold Star families on their journey from grieving victim to empowered survivor, from familiar military community to civilian life. Founded by Betsy Schultz in memory of her only child, Captain Joseph Schultz, who was killed in action in Afghanistan, Betsy honors our fallen heroes by providing this house where friendships can take root and families can draw strength from each other. Staffed solely by volunteers, more are always welcome. Their website is Captain Joseph House at cjhf.org.
Come see Price Ford when shopping for your next vehicle. We have the new Ford Maverick and Ranger, along with the highly capable compact crossover Ford Bronco Sport. Looking for pre-owned? We have the largest selection in the area. Let us help you find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and budget. Visit Price Ford next to Walmart in Port Angeles or priceford.com and become part of the Price family.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Mainly clear this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 51. Winds out of the north 5 to 10 miles per hour. 39 tonight. Daytime highs approaching 54 tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 58 Thursday under sunny skies. 61 Friday. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 55 Saturday, 53 Sunday, and 53 on Monday. Once again, we should top off around 51 today. Lows level off around 39 tonight. A high of 54 tomorrow. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, it's 48 degrees.
Mariners and Rangers, 4 o'clock here, time here on KONP, brought to you by Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales. Now with the rest of the sports, here's Robert Workman.
The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship in Indianapolis last night, Michigan held off Connecticut 69-63. That gives the Wolverines their first men's title since 1989. They held the Huskies to 31% shooting, and while the Wolverines went cold from distance, just 2 for 15, they were money in the paint and at the free throw line, where they made 25 of 28. Elliot Cadeau had a game-high 19 points and was named Most Outstanding Player.
Man, it means the world to me. Like, last year I was really down on myself, and I'm just so proud of myself for me to be able to say I was the most outstanding player and win a national championship at the same time.
North Carolina's new head coach is Michael Malone, who won an NBA title in his 10 years on the Denver Nuggets bench. He hasn't coached in college for 25 years. The Tar Heels had been linked to both of last night's coaches, Dusty May and Tommy Lloyd. Baseball, a World Series rematch last night in Toronto. All Dodgers, 14-2 over the Blue Jays. L.A. has won 4 in a row. The Jays have dropped their last 5. Reds shut out the Marlins 2-0 for their 4th straight. Brandon Williamson and the band with a 3-hitter. Padres ended the Pirates' 5-game run, 5-0. German Marquez and 2 relievers scattered 7 hits. Nationals scored 6 times in the 8th to clip the Cardinals 9-6. All of those runs via the long ball, while the Rockies hung up 8 runs in the 5th and then had to hold on for a 9-7 win over the Astros. Jose Soriano struck out 10 over 8 innings to lead the Angels over the Braves 6-2. He's the first starter to pick up his 3rd win of the season. Brewers battled past the Red Sox. Aaron Ashby got the win in relief. Though he's working out of the bullpen, he's also 3-0. That's Tuesday Sports.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Billionaire hedge fund manager Bill Ackman is making a bid to buy Universal Music, the world's largest music company, in a deal worth more than $64 billion. Universal represents artists such as Taylor Swift, Drake, and Sabrina Carpenter. Ackman is proposing a shakeup at the record label, saying the stock price has taken a hit due to a number of issues unrelated to the performance of its music business, but Ackman says all that can be addressed with this deal. Intel has agreed to join Elon Musk's Terafab project, a chip manufacturing effort for Tesla, SpaceX, and xAI. The project's goal is to produce a huge amount of computing power each year to advance AI and robotics. Musk's plan is to eventually manufacture his own chips for robotics, artificial intelligence, and space data centers. Currently, Tesla already designs its own chips, but none of Musk's companies have ever actually made them. Markets all in the red as traders wait to see what's next in Iran. The Dow is down about 0.75%, S&P down about 0.7%. The Nasdaq is down close to 1%. Dan Schwartzman, Bloomberg Radio.
Right now at Angelus Furniture, take advantage of huge spring savings on Stressless by Eckernes. Save $200 on each stressless seat. That means 2 seats are $400 off, 3 are $600 off, and so on, up to 5 seats. Check out the beautiful mint low back with arms in Paloma teal blue and black leather, and the Emily angled sofa with wide arms in Paloma chestnut. The spring stressless sale going on now through June 1st at Angelus Furniture.
In an emergency, every second counts. At Olympic Medical Center, we're committed to providing high-quality emergency care when you need it most, and important information to prepare you before you do. Visit our website to learn how our triage system works and how you can be better prepared for an ER visit. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your health. Learn more at olympicmedical.org/emergency care.
News Radio KONP. Traffic and roads.
Let's head back up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center now. That's where Steve's standing by with an eye on the roads for us. Good afternoon again, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, overall, we're doing pretty good out there. It's such a nice afternoon. Things moving along pretty smooth, although it is busy out there. Port Angeles area, a little bit slow going through the downtown area, also coming across 8th Street, 8th and Lincoln area. But overall, traffic's moving pretty well. You shouldn't have much problem getting around. Squim's been a little bit busy as well, especially along Washington Street, so just be aware of that. Other than that, the afternoon commute's going along pretty well. If you're headed beyond the Swim area right now, Hood Canal Bridge is good to go with no scheduled marine openings. State ferries are having a little bit of issues going on out there. San Juan's, if anybody's headed up that way, they do have some ferry issues up there with one out of service. On the Bainbridge run, the Tacoma is running about 15-20 minutes behind, which has caused a little bit of a lineup at the docks there. So just be aware if you're headed over that way. If you're headed out to the Forks area, probably your best bet, just an absolutely gorgeous drive out there. Light to moderate traffic moving along at the speed limit. So everybody enjoy your afternoon. Just be safe out there. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
Thank you, Steve. Going to be sunny the rest of the day today. Clear tonight. More sunshine tomorrow. Highs continuing in the mid-50s the next couple of days. 51 right now in Port Townsend. 59 now out west at Forks. Squims at 52, and it's 48 now here in Port Angeles out at Fairchild Airport. Well, why don't we use our turn signals? Here's a new survey out. According to people who were willing to answer, 23% say they do it because they're lazy. 17% said they'd like to signal because they're afraid of forgetting to turn it off, so they don't. 11% say that it's just not important. 8% don't signal because other drivers don't, so why should they? 2% of people said they don't have enough time. I guess that's the quick turn, right? Yeah. And 7% actually say that not signaling adds some excitement to their driving. By the way, men are less likely to use turn signals than women, and younger people signal more frequently than older people do. Again, some reasons why we find it so hard to use that easy little mechanical device, the turn signal, that even turns itself off.
April is the month for our used car bonanza. This is Dale from Wilder Auto, and if you're in the market for a used car, truck, SUV, or van, then you're going to strike gold at Wilder Auto. The good news is that we have the biggest selection of pre-owned gems on the peninsula. When you add to that our state-of-the-art service facilities, over 100 lenders available, and of course the Wilder Advantage, why would you go anywhere else? I'd like to invite you to come on down and do some prospecting, or check us out 24/7 at wilderauto.com.
In conjunction with Squim Valley Chapel and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Home, we're excited to announce the installation of 3 additional niche banks within the Veterans Circle at Mount Angeles Memorial Park in Port Angeles. Each bank has 48 niches, and each niche comfortably houses 1 to 2 sets of remains. We are proud to help serve veterans and their families by adding this additional memorial space to Mount Angeles Memorial Park. Peninsula Cemeteries, because endings matter.
Did you know that the Co-op Farm and Garden has an extensive selection of doodads, thingamabobbers, doohickeys, and actual nuts and bolts and screws? The Co-op makes fixing something at home as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Go into the store with said doodad that needs replaced. 2. Ask a vested crusader to help you locate it. 3. Go home and confidently attach the gizmo to the gadget. The Co-op Farm and Garden knows it all, so you don't have to. Shop the Co-op Farm and Garden in Squim for all your whoozy-whatsy needs.
Off of free installation, for a limited time, we're offering a fixed price guarantee with satellite.
The Apple Music Top 10 list right now. Eddie Dalton's Another Day Old, and another Eddie Dalton song called Somewhere Along the Way. If you're given a choice between an AI-generated product and a human-created product, would you discriminate and buy the one by a real person? I'm Kim Commando for ExpressVPN. When you're online, you're tracked. Keep your activity private and secure. Right now, get 4 extra months at expressvpn.com/Kim. A growing list of brands and companies believe that you'll choose humans if given the choice. American Eagle Outfitters, for example, is using actress Pamela Anderson and a graphic saying, "No AI-generated bodies or people." Dove Beauty products guarantee that the women's faces you see are real. What about you? Do you even care? Speaking of AI, if you're tired of all the hype, be sure that you sign up for my free newsletter. You're going to love it. Comes out every Thursday. SplashOfAI.com. You're being watched. Seriously, every time you go online, your internet provider is tracking your every move. Here in the U.S., they actually sell your browsing history. Until that changes, you need to protect yourself. That's why I use ExpressVPN. It's an easy-to-use app that encrypts your connection and reroutes all your internet traffic through secure servers, so your online activity stays private. With ExpressVPN, your internet provider can't see your browsing history. It hides your IP address. That's the number that identifies you online, so you can't be tracked. And with servers in over 100 countries, you can appear virtually anywhere. It's so simple to use. Click one button and you're protected. Plus, ExpressVPN has apps for everything. Phones, laptops, desktops, and tablets, so you stay private anywhere you connect. Take your online privacy seriously like I do with ExpressVPN. Get up to 4 extra months of ExpressVPN at expressvpn.com/Kim. That's expressvpn.com/Kim. Go now. expressvpn.com/Kim.
Coming up, pop quiz time. Does it matter if your bell pepper is green or red, or your eggs are white or brown? We're going to play a quick round of which is better to figure it out. Next, in today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
Something big is happening at Macy's. 60% off diamonds, 30 to 50% off the latest spring sandals and shoes, plus thousands more deals across the store. This is Macy's biggest spring sale, and these are some of the best deals of the season. The kind where you walk out wondering, how did I get all that? Really, don't sleep on this. Macy's biggest spring sale, tomorrow. Savings off select prices. Exclusions apply.
So does it matter if your bell pepper is green or red, or your eggs are white or brown? We're going to play a quick round of which is better and figure it out. This comes from food science professor Eric Decker. Starting with bell peppers, which is better, red or green? Now, Decker says for the most nutrients, go for red. Red peppers are simply aged green peppers and have more vitamins and nutrients. And then brown eggs versus white eggs. They're actually the same. The only difference, the color of the earlobes of the chicken they come from. Yes, chicken have earlobes. Now you know. So what about different colors of carrots? They're all equally healthy. They just have different antioxidants. For example, orange carrots are loaded with beta-carotene, which your body uses to fight infections. Purple carrots have the anti-inflammatory anthocyanin. I'm John Tesh with today's Intelligence Fair Life Minute, brought to you by John Tesh All Access at Tesh.com.
Meet Jean. She calls Lavender Meadows in Sequim home. It's the kind of place where mornings feel unhurried, neighbors know your name, and life is meant to be enjoyed.
It's just the camaraderie. We have potlucks here, we have Thanksgiving here. I've made some very nice friends, and it's just a nice atmosphere.
Come home to Lavender Meadows in Sequim. Visit lavendermeadowsmhc.com to learn more.
The North Peninsula's news, the North Peninsula's talk. News Radio KONP, Port Angela Sequim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A deadline imposed by President Trump for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz is now less than 4 hours away. The president also escalating, vowing to strike Iran's infrastructure if Iran does not agree.
This is certainly an escalation in his threats. And notably, you have the president, his whole purpose of these strikes going back 5.5 weeks was to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon that could go and target another country. And now you have the president threatening to take out an entire civilization.
Pakistan's prime minister, meantime, is asking President Trump for a deadline extension to keep up the negotiations, saying that they are progressing but not giving any details. And the lawmakers remain on break, but some are starting to speak out. Congressional Democrats criticized the ramp-up threats in a joint statement. Top Democrats in the Senate, including the ranking members of committees overseeing the military and foreign affairs, say they speak with one voice and one purpose to condemn the president's threat to extinguish the entire civilization. And GOP Senator Mitch McConnell, meantime, at an event in Kentucky, telling ABC station WCPO that the language of the president's threats was not great. But he says he supports the president's mission, saying that the Iranian regime are, quote, bad actors. Vice President J.D. Vance in Hungary today. He's representing the Trump administration's support for Viktor Orban ahead of Sunday's elections. Orban is fighting to stay in power. The crew of the Artemis II, meantime, heading back to Earth. That after setting a new human space travel distance record during their lunar flyby yesterday. The Orion capsule entering the Earth's gravitational influence today. The crew able to hold a call with the crew of the International Space Station. You're listening to ABC News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-576-2024. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-576-2024. That's 800-576-2024.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
A U.S. Army Staff Sergeant trying to halt his wife's deportation after she was detained inside a Louisiana military base where the couple was planning to live just days after their wedding. Officials had said she was subject to deportation issued back when she was a baby arriving from Honduras. ABC's Olivia Rubin has more.
22-year-old Annie Ramos was arrested last week, just days after she married Matthew Blank, a soldier in Louisiana who's preparing for his possible third deployment overseas. Ramos is a biochemistry student with no criminal history.
Today, Annie Ramos has since been released from ICE custody. In a statement, Ramos says she is deeply grateful to her husband and family. Turkish police are investigating a gunfight between officers and 3 people near the Israeli consulate in Istanbul today. Police say one attacker was killed and 2 others injured.
Now, according to Turkey's interior minister, the 3 men traveled into Istanbul from a city to the east. They used long-barreled firearms in that attack. And according to the interior minister, they did belong, he alleges, to a group, but he's not naming that group. He's saying the group was guilty of exploiting religion. That's a quote from the Interior Minister.
ABC's Tom Sufi Burridge. Ford recalling more than 400,000 vehicles because the windshield wiper arms can break, causing reduced visibility and the risk of a crash. Michelle Franzen.
What's the misconception when considering new cabinets for your home?
I think a lot of people are under the impression that if they go to the box stores, they're going to pay a lot less for their cabinets.
That's Tony from Tim's Cabinets.
Going custom cabinets, you're usually paying about the same or less.
Tim's Custom Cabinets in Sequim. 40-plus years experience ensures your cabinet project will be done right.
Let me help make the process comfortable. And at the end, you're going to be extremely happy with what we've done for you.
Tim's Custom Cabinets Sequim.
As each season changes, one thing stays the same. Airport Garden Center is always here to help your yard and garden grow. Airport Garden Center opened for business in 1977 as a pet, plant, and feed store by Eldora and Floyd Matthews. The family-run operation continues with Mark and Betsy Matthews passionately managing the business to this day. Their family provides your family quality service, products, and expert advice for a fun, rewarding, pet and child-friendly shopping atmosphere. We love helping you plan next season by offering monthly special savings too. Go to airportgarden.biz for current specials and seasonal classes and events, or just stop on by our spacious indoor-outdoor garden center on Edgewood Drive in Port Angeles to chat with the experts. Airport Garden Center, planting knowledge, growing gardeners since 1977.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Ample sunshine expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 52. Winds out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight. Lows dip down to about 39. Daytime highs approaching 54 tomorrow. Ample sunshine expected. Ample sunshine expected Thursday with highs around 58. 61 Friday. Looking at the long range, 55 Saturday, 53 Sunday, and 53 on Monday. To recap, a high of 52 today, low of 39 tonight, highs reach 54 tomorrow. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, it's 49 degrees.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
Welcome once again to the program. Lots to cover today, and this is one that I think everybody can really deal with, and that is the loss of a pet. And we quarterly have our friends in from the Volunteer Hospice of Clallam County to talk about death and dying and things. And this was really an interesting change of things. And I didn't realize that you all are involved with the Olympic Peninsula Humane Society on grief over loss of a pet. And so we're going to talk a bit about that and some options for you. And I just remarked to my guests that our family just lost our beloved cat of about 10 or 11 years just a few weeks ago. And it's tough. We haven't gone through one of those in a while, and it really is a tough thing to do. So no shame in having lots of grief over those furry little friends of ours, certainly. So I'm going to introduce folks as we go, I think, a little bit. Jeanette Stair-Green's going to kick things off for us. Yeah. She's kind of the lead on most of these and helps put these together. And Jeanette, good to see you again.
Good to see you. Thank you so much for having us here today. This is a topic, and I'm kind of starting to tear up just thinking about it. That is, it's pretty close to a lot of our hearts, and that's the death of a companion animal. And, over 60% of American households have a dog or a cat. And if you add in goldfish and feathered friends and snakes and all this, it's a huge percentage of our community have pets that are very dear to us. And the sad fact of the matter is most of them, except for parrots and maybe horses, their lifespan is much, much shorter than ours. And so we're going to be dealing with this. We just are. And so what we hope today is kind of to reflect on why these animals are so important to us. And then when we no longer have them in our lives, how can we deal with that? And we have some new activities happening to help support people from our community around this.
All right. So that said, I don't know, where do we want to just kind of round table this a little bit?
I think so, because I think both the other guests here today with me feel very strongly about this,
All right,
too.
so let's go over first to the Executive Director of the Olympic Peninsula Humane Society, Spencer McGinty's back. Spencer, good to see you again.
Hi, how are you, Todd?
It's very good. And this is a real deal thing, isn't it?
It
We
is.
think about your group as adopting out animals and stuff, but here we are talking about kind of, I guess, the next chapter that happens often after these animals go to a new home.
Yeah.
Eventually,
I
that
mean,
family's probably going to have to deal with this.
And a lot of people come to our organization to adopt after their pet, after they've lost a pet. And they said, oh, well, you know, I lost my pet like a month or 6 months or a year ago, and I'm ready to open my heart up again. And they try to come and find a cat or a dog that kind of gives them that same sense of peace that they had from their former animal. And I mean, like Jeanette said, like these animals, they hold such a special place in our hearts because they do give us unconditional love. They keep our secrets. They don't judge us when we make really, really bad mistakes. They, you know, I think that they are one of the only examples in our lifetimes of unconditional love. And, you know, I work with them every day, but ultimately, I was a certified euthanasia technician when I was in Utah at my former shelter. So like I watched multiple families bring their animals in to say goodbye and when they were at the end of that lifetime. And it's a very sacred might not be the right word, but it's a sacred connection, and it's a sacred experience to not only own an animal, love an animal, but lose an animal as well.
Yeah.
So.
And if you have a family with youngsters, it's also kind of a teaching thing as well, which good and bad, you know, kind of understanding what life is all about. There's an end to it at some point
and
for all of us.
Ultimately, like we see a lot, and it was walking into those situations where you are, you know, bringing that animal to the end of their life and performing that procedure. Ultimately, like watching parents have to explain to their kids, and like I mean, you have to maintain a level of decorum when you're in a professional welfare environment, but ultimately, like, I can't tell you how many animals I cried while we were having to perform that procedure, and I didn't even know this animal, but knowing how loved they were is so special.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you something. A little story about me is that I was going to be a veterinarian.
Oh, wow.
That's the reason I couldn't do it. I said, there is no way every day I can go into work knowing that that's probably going to be part of my day.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you learn to, you know, get through it somehow, but yeah.
I think the main way I personally went through it is we talked about this kind of last time, and I want to touch on it again just really fast. But ultimately, I think there's a lot of people who don't feel like they are comfortable enough to go back and be with their animal while they're undergoing that procedure. And I just kind of want to reiterate to the masses that, like, that is okay if you emotionally can't handle that, because the people who are performing that procedure on your animal love them, regardless of whether or not we know them. You love them, and there's something to that, right? Even animals that I, you know, at my former shelter that like were fading fast, kind of, we call it fading kitten syndrome. So if it was like a kitten that wasn't surviving, or things like, or even an animal that was just failing to thrive, quality of life issues, regardless of whether or not they even had a name, they were so loved, even in their last moments, by people who didn't know them. And so everyone who works in animal welfare has that well, and it is never ending. There is no bottom to that well of how much love we have for our own animals and the animals in the community and the animals of those who can't care for them anymore. I think a lot of the time people think that people surrendering animals to shelters, like, oh, they're terrible for surrendering that animal. It's the worst day of most of those people's lives. There's so much empathy for animals across the board, but especially animals at that end of life But yeah, there's no shame in not being able to be present for that. They are loved through and through to the end.
Yeah,
So.
although I have some friends who say that those pets do look for their owner if they can.
Sometimes. It really depends on the situation. Yeah. A lot of the time, they're loved on by their people before we go back, and then they're loved on by us. They're given, if it's a dog, there's usually peanut butter or chocolate chips, because every dog deserves to taste chocolate before they cross the rainbow bridge, in my personal opinion. And with cats, there's like lots of tuna treats. Yeah. There's all that stuff. All of the things that you can't give them on a day-to-day basis, they are given those in those last moments to have a peaceful exit from this life. And euthanasia, the translation from Greek into English is peaceful death or peaceful passing. So yeah, that's our goal all the time.
My cat went on her own though, and that was, I don't know if it's harder or not, because that was it just happened in front of us, which was a shock, right? Yeah. And I think that kind of gives it kind of the old rip the Band-Aid off sort of thing as well. They depend on us for so much, for so long, but I think it's a two-way street. Even though, it's like they need us to feed them and do all of these things, we certainly get everything back from them. And I think, Jeanette, you're nodding. That's why this is a tough thing to do.
And these creatures, they are just always around us. As opposed, you said something like maybe not missing a human that passes as much as an animal. I mean, these creatures are at the door when you come home, and they're there when you're fixing dinner, and they're there in the morning when you wake up. And the last cat that we lost, we got him right before my mother passed away. Oh. He was with us through thick and thin. COVID was by our side, was our joy. I mean, every time you try to find something positive in the day, it was him. And then it was just a couple months after my father passed away. And so there was also all of these emotional connections beyond what he gave to us. Is like, it was my connection to my mom, my dad, these sorts of things, which is not uncommon. Yep. That they also represent other human relationships.
So Astrid has not been on for a couple of times. We haven't had Astrid Raffensfellows on for a bit. You cat dog owner, have you gone through this personally? First, I should ask this. It's obvious from my first two guests here.
Yeah, I've had many losses. The first one was quite traumatic. It was a neighbor shot our dog. Oh. I was 10 years old. I'm somehow still grieving
I
that
bet you
one.
are. Yeah.
I told my parents at the time that they could not have any other animals, and I looked for those animals, or for that animal all the time. I used to live in a city where there was a couple of Samoyed not far from my house, and whenever I would walk by, I would just run to those dogs because my dog had been a Samoyed, and I tremendously miss her. And I've lost lots and lots of animals. I mean, mostly dogs, but also horses. And when you give a name to an animal, I used to live on a farm, and we had cows. And if we had to butcher a cow, it was always, there is something there. But what I'm thinking about also is that as you talk about, Spencer, about taking care of the animal and being with them, then you carry that burden of holding that loss in your heart. And that's why this grief support group, I think, is so important for people who have lost a pet. It's not just for the owners of a pet, but it's also for the working people in the industry.
Good point. Okay.
And I think that there is a need there. And at times, with all the grief support group that Volunteer Hospice does, I have had requests at times, like, I lost my dog, can I come to the grief support group? And as hard as it's been for me, I have to say no. I cannot mix people who've lost a person with people who've lost a pet. It's not a matter of the loss is greater than it's different. It's very different. And we have to acknowledge that.
But the reality is, you've been getting enough of these calls, you realize there is a need for this type of a grief support group.
There is a need for this type of, group, support group for pet loss. And it's something actually that's really close to my heart. In 2016, when I was already working at Volunteer Hospice, I wanted a group like this. I didn't have the impetus, the support to make it happen. So I kind of shelved it away, but it never disappeared from my mind, really. And so when Jeanette approached me and she's like, oh, we could do this. And I'm like, yes, we can do this. And I'm extremely pleased that it's finally happening.
Yeah, and I should point out, I didn't give Astrid's title for her. She's a volunteer service manager and also works with all of these volunteers and helps organize these groups as well that get together through Volunteer Hospice of Clallam County. So,
so Astrid kind of put out there this idea that we have, and this is a collaboration between Volunteer Hospice of Clallam County and Olympic Peninsula Humane Society, and that is to provide a very special place for those who are grieving the loss of a companion animal to come together and share and talk and process their grief. And it's a really interesting combination of talents and skills here, because we have those of us who are really into the grief world, but we have those of us who are also into supporting animals and doing right by them. And so it's just a wonderful marriage as far as I see, and it's really exciting. We are currently planning to do these grief support groups once a month. It'll be the second Monday of the month at 3:00, and it's going to be at Kitty City. It's a
down in Carlsberg, right? Yeah, right off the highway, Kitty City.
91 South Boyce Road in Sequim.
And we're besides Spencer will be joining us and giving her perspectives and her heart to this. We also have some grief support people from hospice, and this is Sue Lenander and Lisa Galbraith. They're both people who have been trained in grief support and will be coming to help people process how they're feeling.
And we should point out you're meeting this coming Tuesday, right, or Monday, right? That's the 13th.
That's Monday,
right. I'm looking at my notes here. Yeah, the 13th. So you got a chance if you're going through this. Should they call first? Just show up?
It's just to show up. It's an open invitation. We are starting at 3. We're looking to end by about 4:30. But ultimately, it doesn't even have to be a pet that you've lost recently. I mean, I.
Oh yeah, I know this. Well, Astrid just pointed it out. I mean, years later you can get the Jags again from it.
Well, last time we were talking, and Sue was with us last time, and she mentioned, I mean, it can be like things will bring up grief that you don't even anticipate, like moving away from like a house where your animal has been buried. And I started crying during our last interview because I literally just kind of processed like, oh, we sold my grandparents' farm, and that's where my childhood pets are buried. And like, those were the ones that I had from 14 to 28, so those, I mean, those are my babies. And now I had that realization of, oh, I don't get to go visit them again. And like, they've been gone for many years. And so grief never goes away. It just shows up in different forms. And I love the saying that grief is just love with nowhere to go. And it just spills over. And so I love that we're creating a safe space where people can go and talk about their animals. Cause I feel like a lot of the time we feel like we can't really talk about it. Cause a lot of the time when you're talking about, at least in my age group, people are constantly talking about their kids, right? And I don't have those. I have fur babies, and when I bring them up, because they are my whole world, right? I'm kind of looked at sideways, and they're like, well, that's not. It's not the same. Yeah, and so it's discounted, I feel like. And so I feel like when people lose their animals, they don't feel like they can talk about it without being like, yeah, wow, you're sad about your cat.
Well, it's just a pet.
It's just a pet.
An animal,
and it's not,
right.
Again, that animal gave me unconditional love and saw me in my ugliest moments, like both mentally and physically, has seen me at my ugliest and loved me anyway. And there's that feeling of belonging with another living creature isn't something that can be replicated, really.
Right.
And you know what? Actually, the grief that we feel following the loss of these creatures, it's kind of reassuring to me for the human race that we can feel so strongly and so intensely about these other creatures, and that it sticks with us. It's not just, oh, let's move on with our lives. And I think that's a positive thing about us, that we do care so much for them.
Yeah. Okay, before we run out of time, we're going to give people a few tips, though. There's some things you can do if you've lost a pet. These are some of the things I think you'll be probably talking about as well.
Right. I think there are other things that one can do, and I think talking with others and coming to a grief support group or talking to friends and family about the loss of the pet, it would help a lot. But let's say that's not right for you or you need more. So we'll just kind of chime in. Sure. I think when you lose a pet, to actually mark and acknowledge the occasion is really important. Mm-hmm. Rituals. We've been on the program before talking about how important rituals are and celebrating that person and celebrating the relationship. So I really encourage folks when you lose a pet is to take a moment, have a little ceremony, light a candle, scatter ashes, and really try to mark the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can also, if you want to, if you have the space, you can bury your pet. Mm-hmm. And you can have, in my garden, there is a place in the center of the garden, there is a bench and there is a tombstone, and it's to our beloved Molly.
Yeah. Yep, and right. It is legal to bury a pet on your own property. There are some stipulations. You have to bury at least 3 feet deep, and not in a floodplain or within 100 feet of surface waters. But it is totally legal.
It's legal. And a lot of us live in the countryside, so it's fine.
Yeah, and most gardens are probably, if you're going to do like what Astrid has done, you're going to be just fine.
Yeah,
I think it will be just fine.
It's going to be just fine. But you can, if you don't have the body, I wanted the body of that latest dog we had. I carried that body out, and we wanted the body with us. But then you can have ashes.
And if not, think about planting flowers. Right. We have a neighbor who had a dog by the name of Daisies, and they have planted daisies in their garden ever since. Sweet. A special place, a special bench. Yeah. Some other remembrance, and I know that Spencer was talking about having your dog's tags on your keychain or something.
I keep my my dog Buddy. He lived to be 16. He passed in 2020. 2020. And I have he had Addison's disease, and I have I have Addison's, I need medication tag, and I keep it in my car. And he's just, he's not around, but he's with me. And again, those animals, I'm tearing up, but they see us in our darkest moments. And that dog saw me through puberty, so more props to him for never biting me or but I keep him with me. I have my other dog Trixie, who is his girlfriend. She passed at 4 years old when I was about 14, and I have her collar in my car too. So, it never goes away. You never stop loving them. I'm sorry.
You're totally fine. It is totally fine.
I have another idea. Something that also people do when they lose a person, they may make a donation, like we get at Volunteer Hospice, we get donations of people who we have helped through their loss. It's the same for, a pet. You may want to make a donation to the organization that help you adopt them, maybe. I believe that OPHS is a nonprofit.
We are.
So they can take donations.
And, if it ever comes there, we also, if there are situations, and like you were talking about steps or ideas or tips for animals passing, if your animal does pass at your home, we at the Humane Society offer cremation services. If you need a place to take your deceased animal, even if you can't afford cremation services, you can bring them to us, and we can send them to the company we work with for free. That's not an issue. But I want people to know that they have a place to, if your animal passes in the night or just while you're watching. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't my dear wife. It was middle of the night, 2 a.m, by the way. She just happened to get up. Have really bizarre things about alarms going off in our house that weren't set at the time. Little woo-woo-y, but I believe that
your
our
cat was like,
hey,
saying,
I need you to check in because I'm checking out. This sort of thing.
But no, I want people to know that there are places that you can take them, and OPHS is one of those places, and we're more than happy to help you in those times of need.
It's tough. They just warm right into our little hearts, don't they?
They really do, and they never leave.
And they don't. I've got my memories of my little childhood, pets too that are still there, just as well. Toughest part though is after the fact. You just No cat when I walked in the door that one day, the first day, and it was like, wow, that is tough. That's when it hit me. That's when the crying really started.
And it's those moments where like you're sitting in silence and there's no click clack on the floor of nails coming up to say hi, and that's, I mean, there's nothing, there's a hollowness that you can't replicate, I don't think. So,
well, I encourage people to check this out. There's a ton of pet lovers in this community, so I think there's probably going to be a lot of people that may take
I'm
you
new
up
to
on
town,
this.
and I don't think I've seen an empty back seat that doesn't have a dog in it since I moved here.
It's a thing, yeah. So 3 to 4:30 or so in the afternoons. Next one's coming up Monday the 13th, so the second Monday
of
every month, and that's going to be out at the OPHS Kitty City. That's 91 South Boys Road. That's right in Carlsberg. When you'll see it on the right if you're heading towards Squim.
And we're inviting folks. It's this drop-in. You don't need to register. We're inviting people to bring a memento of their companion pet. Like a photo or a collar or something. And as we go around, we'll share, kind of stories and that sort of thing. So,
thanks for doing this. It's a big need.
It's a nice collaboration.
It's a great,
We're really excited to work with Volunteer Hospice. And when Jeanette came to me, I was also like, this is an incredible idea. I was a part of a grief group in Salt Lake for pet loss. And I can't tell you healing is the wrong word because you never fully get over it, but there's a camaraderie and a sense of belonging that comes from talking to others who have lost animals. So.
All right, real quick, like a couple of other things going on. You guys want to highlight from hospice? Astrid?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So we have our regular desk cafes. We have one in Port Angeles on the third Thursday at Studio Bob at 5:30. And then we have another desk cafe in Port Angeles as well at the VHOCC office on the fourth Wednesday at 4 p.m. And also in Squim, obviously, the second Monday as well, but not at the same time at 4 p.m., so hopefully it doesn't interfere. And then we continue our soul care program series. I'm very excited. In May, we're going to have Barbara Carnes. Barbara Carnes, if you don't know that name, she's a nurse and she wrote the Little Blue Book. So anybody who is familiar with Little Blue Book for End of Life, that's her. We are delighted to have her. She's phenomenal. And that's going to be a very interesting speaker series. And of course, it will be registered and on the website, like all the speaker series are. Yep.
All right. And they have a full calendar of things on there as well. So, including probably something about the pet loss, grief loss group, right?
Yep.
All right. Interesting. Thank you for setting this up and letting folks know that this is an opportunity because it's, like I said, I know a lot of people are. I should have brought this up earlier. That companion was their only companion. Yeah. They may be a single person who's, even elderly, and that's even tougher. Right.
And like Jeanette said, it can be a piece of, if they are widowed, it can be a piece of their partner that is their last piece of their partner. So we want to give people the opportunity to find community in loss and outside of it. So.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Spencer. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, my friend.
Spencer, he's the executive director of the OPHS here, and Astrid Raffenfellows. It's so good to see you again. Don't wait 3 months to come back.
Okay, I'll come back soon. I'll make sure
She's quite busy, though. I'll give her a little bit of it, working with the volunteer stuff at Volunteer Hospice. And Jeanette Steer-Green, as always, thanks for organizing these and doing all that you're doing in every hat you wear.
A champion among women.
My regular co-host down here lately, but I appreciate it. All right, we're going to take a break and be back right after this.
Hello, this is Katie McCormick with Squim Valley and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapels. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a new, exciting, and environmentally friendly development in the funeral industry. It's called Natural Organic Reduction, or terramation. Perhaps you've heard of it. Terramation is a process in which the body, after death, is returned to the earth in a carbon-neutral, eco-friendly manner. The process takes place in a controlled environment, and all that remains is a natural, odorless, compost-like material. If you would like more information about terramation and advanced planning, call us today at Harper Ridgeview in Port Angeles or Squim Valley Chapel in Squim, and one of our knowledgeable and caring funeral professionals will assist you in answering your questions. Harper Ridgeview and Squim Valley Funeral Chapels, because your loved ones deserve the best.
Looking for the next place to call home? Come tour Lavender Meadows in Sequim.
I had been looking at this great community here. Lavender Meadows stands way above the others.
Dennis and his wife found more than just a home.
One of my favorite things we have here is we have a community garden. We can grow tomatoes and just all kinds of greens. Our radishes were fabulous.
Come meet your new neighbors at Lavender Meadows. Our modern, low-maintenance homes give you more time to enjoy your life. Go to lavendermeadowsmhc.com.
Hey there, Dawn Riling with Olympic Hot Tub. Ready for family fun and fitness year-round in your own backyard? During our Sweet Spring Savings event, we're adding Endless Pools factory discounts with our already incredible savings. That means you can enjoy up to $16,500 off your dream swim spa. Don't wait. These amazing savings end April 14th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Hi, this is Port Commissioner Connie Beauvais. The Port of Port Angeles brings you a look inside your port and shares exciting updates and developments designed to attract even more business and jobs to our area. This year, we welcome Citizen Air to our skies, a new aviation company expanding operations at Fairchild International Airport. This marks a fresh chapter in regional air travel, offering private jet ownership opportunities and plans for reliable and affordable scheduled service out of Port Angeles. By committing to our area's future, Citizen Air will help transform how we connect with the world beyond. Partnering with the port, their mission is simple: make flying more accessible and more dependable for all of us. Lift your eyes to the skies. A bright new era is ahead for our community.
This has been your Port of PA Today. Explore portofpa.com.
Caring for a loved one takes heart and help. Dungeness Court Memory Care is there for you. Our adult day stay program offers a safe, nurturing environment with meals, engaging activities, caregiving support, and on-site nursing care. Day stay is available 7 days a week from 30 minutes to 10 hours with no minimum commitment for only $25 an hour. Care for your loved one. Peace of mind for you. Call 360-582-9309 to schedule a free assessment today.
Hi everyone, it's Chris Ruley from the Naval Elks Lodge, inviting you to get lost in the lodge. Our annual Roaring 20s celebration will take you on a journey through the lodge while indulging in delicious snacks.
When you get lost in the lodge, you'll be rewarded with an outstanding live entertainment lineup, including acrobats, underground boxing, live music from Super Nostalgic in the ballroom, Jimmy Hoffman in the lounge, and come find the hidden cowboy bar, other various theme bars, and a speakeasy.
This is a night you won't want to miss. Get lost in the lodge with the Naval Elks Anniversary Celebration, all for just $40.
Get your tickets now and celebrate the Naval Elks Lodge anniversary, Saturday, April 18th. Text tickets to 360-461-0426 or go to Events at the Elks on Facebook.
All right, welcome back to the program. As we've been doing, as announced, these candidates have announced. We've been trying to get them on my program for the state house seats especially, and we do have another candidate who has announced since we last talked with some candidates. And this time out, we're going to spend some time with Ted Bowen, who has entered the race for State House in the 24th District. One of the early candidates, and we're going to be certainly watching these through the election season. Filing starts in May, and Ted joins us on the phone today to talk a little bit about why he's decided to run. Ted, thank you for spending some time with our listeners.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So, let's just first of all, a little bit about you. Why you decided you wanted to run now for the State House seat, and we should say this: you're running for the seat that Adam Birnbaum is holding right now.
That is correct.
So, what made you decide to run?
Well, honestly, I've been doing ministry for the last couple of years in our local community, and I've been kind of traveling around throughout. I've done ministry in like Moses Lake, Spokane, Seattle, here, and I've noticed some things that aren't changing on our streets. And I thought, if I don't say something that I'm seeing this last couple of years, if I'm not I guess I just basically got tired of talking and just wanted to do something about it, and I thought this was the best way to do it.
So what is your plan? If you get elected, what would you like to do?
So what I'd like to do, because, my motto, my life, how I operate, I'm about my faith, my family, and my community. And so I'd like to take an older school approach to this, and I'd like to encourage our churches. There's over 100 in the district, and I would like the churches to actually take a look at this verse, the chapter Matthew 25. I'd like the leadership of churches to just look at that and spend some time in that chapter, and then think about how if every church, right, could go back in time a little bit when churches had, they had daycares, they had social services, they had counseling, they from marriage to mental health. There's a whole plethora, I can't say that word, of things that churches can do. We have the spaces, we have the property, and the bodies to do the work. And I really think that there's a spiritual element as well to what's going on in our communities. And with all that combined, I really think that we could even team up with our local resources, our real teams, the people that are hitting the streets. And I really think that we can make a huge difference with the facilities and the bodies to help in those areas.
So if elected, it sounds like you might push for some, I guess, would it be some easing of regulations, some other things that would make it more, I'll use the word attractive, I guess, for these churches to get back into doing these things?
I would definitely take a look at that. But really, these churches, we can, as a body, we can really... We're not asking, I'm not proposing any funding would go to the churches or anything like that. It's just volunteer based, just churches diving in, picking one lane, whether it's, like I said, a food bank, a clothing closet. Those are just some examples to really get in the community and help. And I think over time, if all these churches got on board, we could even ease some of our tax burdens as well.
All right. So you're really approaching this as being in a true leadership position, more so than just a legislative position.
Yeah, I'm not only in a leadership position, but just a real position. Like, here, I'm out. Come with me out to the street, even. Like, let's go do some work. Just from a real place.
All right. Some of the other issues that go on, I mean, you will be facing a lot of budget issues if you are elected in this. Your thoughts about how the state ought to attack these things? Certainly, even with this past legislative session, it was controversial to say the least. And now the state officials are saying that probably going to be another round of some tough talk about budgets next session, too, which would be your first session if elected.
Correct. You know how I look at it? I'm going to bring the community piece back into it. It is really sitting down with, future co-partners that could be in the district and other legislators and talking about what is happening in our districts, what is happening to the people who, frankly suffer from taxes and all the other issues that are going on, gas prices, all of that, and decide where we need to cut and where we need to budget. I think we have a lack of a budgeting mindset at the Capitol, and we need to really start taking our people into consideration and really work on budgeting for sure. We have to budget instead of keep adding more and more and more.
Certainly rural areas like the 24th have had some economic struggles, maybe more so than other parts of the state. Any thoughts about how you help us with that?
Sorry, can you be more specific on the
economic development? Basically, how do you, where do you see there's room that we can do something for the 24th so we can get people good jobs again, essentially?
Yeah. Again, it goes back to the community aspect and relying less on our government and relying more on our community, whether that's churches or outside programs, sitting down with people in the trades and finding ways to maybe incentivize to get more people trained in these trades and look at different regulations and things that need to be cut out to weed through the stuff that doesn't need to be there And so it would create more jobs and bring more people wanting to come out to the peninsula for sure. The district.
I've talked with previous candidates for the other position that they're running about this as well, but I'll ask you the same about helping to differentiate. A lot of what happens in lawmaking in Olympia is really driven by the Puget Sound, the I-5 corridor. What fits there doesn't fit out in these areas a lot of times. How do you address that?
Yeah, we just have to take that rural mindset. The people that live here, the people who are voting us in, they know what it is and they know what needs to happen. So I have an approach of, if I make it there, I would find ways to communicate better with the people in the district. I mean, whether it's emails, town halls, like their opinion matters from like our office to what's being voted on the floor. I really think if we take a lot of consideration of what the people want, then those ideas, we can culminate some great things and make some big changes out here in the district.
Now, we should point out, you're planning to run as an independent. Give us a reason why that is and how you might see that as an advantage.
I guess I don't necessarily see it as an advantage. Actually, the way the political, stuff is now, I would think someone's probably going to be like, you need to be right or you need to be left. But right now, as it sits, I just feel like I fit more in the middle because I feel like from the outside perspective, I mean, here's the other deal. If I'm being straight up, I've never been a politician, right? Honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I never thought I'd even try to go this route. And so I just have a higher view, a different lens. So I felt like I fit more in the middle there as an independent.
Is there a misconception perhaps about your campaign? I know we haven't really launched into it, but as people hear, oh, Ted Moen's good, he's running. What's right? Maybe people don't realize why you're running.
Yeah, I've kind of put it out there on social medias, and I get a lot about, the separation of church and state, because I do speak a lot about my faith, and that drives me and my family. But I would say if there's any misconceptions, I would like to meet with people in a group or one-on-one and answer those questions individually, and kind of break down what I mean about like the church helping, about like the community, like our social service programs and our churches working together. Like I'd really like to sit down with people who wanted to and have genuine questions and talk to them about, hey, this is what I'm seeing. I've been doing the work quietly behind the scenes, and I think this is what can help the whole big picture. So just sitting down with people one-on-one or in small groups would be the way to, I think, get their questions answered.
Sounds to me like you feel like things are very siloed in Olympia, even with our electeds who are already there.
Yeah, so I worked up in Olympia as a supervisor in security for legislation for a couple sessions. And one of the things I noticed, having to watch people, see what's going on, I realized that there's not a lot of people from all the districts really going up there and either putting pressure or taking advantage of, hey, we have a right to be up here. We can wait in this lobby. We can talk to our representative. I didn't see a lot of that then, and I don't know what it's like now because I'm not there. But it was really, first of all, for me, when I started working there, I was like, wow, I can do this. I can go and sit with my representative. And I just didn't see that a lot in a lot of districts, not just 24. So I think getting that message out that, hey, you can come to Olympia. Hey, we can sit down together. I work for you,
How do you break that, though? Because I think there really is something about that. People are feeling like they're not, that they're being governed upon rather than the other way around, or the way it's really supposed to be. Whether that's true or not, I think it's a psychological thing, and it's a reality, at least in people's perspective.
I believe, in a quick snapshot, I believe it, from what I saw, I believe it is a reality. And I think the way we break it is bringing people up, going more into your community, sharing the ideas, telling people what's being voted on. I mean, a simple idea would be like send out a mass email and say, hey, this is what's going on the floor. What do people in your district think? Give me your opinion, yes, no, and you work through that, because it was really sad to see. I just feel like the people are not being represented. It's the people that are up there saying, oh, they voted for me, they trust my decision making, and that may be true, but it's about the people in the community that are being affected. So I just think there's got to be ways to involve our district more, people in our local communities, our neighbors.
As someone who's not done this before, you've not had elected office, is that helpful, do you think, heading into what is a very polarized type of atmosphere that is Olympia? You kind of alluded to this. The right is entrenched, the left is entrenched, and it seems like nobody wants to talk to anybody else.
Exactly. I do think there is an advantage to that, in a sense that I'm in the streets, I'm working with agencies, I'm basically in the trenches, and so I know what's going on, and so I'm bringing that, I guess, I don't know if vigor is the right word, but I'm bringing that aggression and that, hey, this is what's happening, this is what's going on. Let's be an example and be a community and get together and talk. Like, we need to talk. I'm telling you, this is what I see. These are the data. And that's the other thing I want to bring up, too, is, like, there's not a lot of, there's a blanket data of, like, if I could talk really quick about the harm reduction, right? Mm-hmm. There's blanket data, right? There's these bags that they'll hand out with, like, glass pipes, syringes, foils, fentanyl test strips, medical gels and things like that. What I have seen all across the state is that is not saving lives. I'm a big proponent for Narcan. Narcan is saving lives. Building district detox centers and a district treatment center, that would save lives. Taking the money spent on these what they're called boofing bags, and putting that money into facilities, transportation, getting people the help they need now instead of waiting 1 or 2 days because we have to take them out of town. I guess the reason I brought that up is because when you look for data on that, you don't get to see a lot of data. It's like a blanket data. Oh, this bag prevented this disease and this bag stopped this. But really what's saving the life is the Narcan in that bag. We're just keeping people in the streets with everything else in that bag. And I just think to have real data of what actually is working versus what's enabling would be a great thing to look at. And I just can't find that data specifically down to that point, if that makes sense.
All right, Ted Bowen gets elected. What's the first issue you would like to tackle?
Oh, man, my first thing, I'll be honest with you, is I'm going to try to call housing, right? I want to look at regulations for housing. I want to break into that, meet with the people who are building, who are investing. I want to meet with the churches, district-wide. I want to talk about how we can help the tax burdens. I want to talk about how we can combat the fentanyl crisis. I want to bring people to the table that I know that are working in the industry that have great ideas. There's a lot of things I want to do, and I just want to get started, to be honest with you.
You mentioned you never thought you'd do this thing. It sounds like you're pretty well committed now. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I'm pretty committed. It actually was a little bit of a battle, but I'm there and I'm ready to go and want to get to work for sure.
All right, a little bit about you, just so folks know your background. You mentioned a little bit, but I should ask you at the top, what do you do if you're not in the legislature?
Well, I work for a local tribe. I do lots of different things. I do security. I do crisis response to the community. And I also work in emergency management.
All right,
and highly involved in ministry, Celebrate Recovery, street ministry, my family, just soccer fields, all of that.
All right, you can learn more about Ted Bowen at electtedbowen, BOWEN.com online. Ted, I'm sure we'll be chatting some more as the campaign gets going. Filing starts in a month or so, and I appreciate you taking a little time out of your day to talk with our listeners about why you've decided you're going to run for that position number 1 in the 24th District.
Absolutely. I appreciate your time. Thank you guys so much.
Okay, you got it. That's Ted Bowen there. We're going to take a break. We'll wrap things up on our program right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Hi, this is John Holm, President of Tri-State Roofing, your local and family-owned company covering the entire Olympic Peninsula area. The difference with Tri-State Roofing is we separate ourselves with the quality of products we offer, customer service, including an A+ rating with the BBB, solid safety plans, and the best labor guarantees around. Call 360-208-2222.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
Bathfitter is celebrating over 42,000 installations in Western Washington. That's 42,000 bathrooms made safer, cleaner, and more stylish. And for a limited time, we're doubling our tax season offer, giving up to $1,000 off your dream bath. Custom-fit tub and shower solutions are installed in as little as 1 day, with complete removal of your old setup. Every installation backed by a lifetime warranty. Visit bathfitternw.com to schedule a free consultation. Hurry, this offer won't last.
Is it time for new asphalt paving for your dirt, gravel, or damaged driveway? There's one place to call: Lakeside Industries, the community-minded asphalt paving professionals serving the community since 1982. You see them all around Clallam County working major city, county, and highway projects. Did you know Lakeside does residential and commercial grading, paving, and stormwater too? No asphalt paving job is too small. Just call 452-7803 for a free estimate.
Come see Price Ford when shopping for your next new or pre-owned vehicle. How about a new Ford F-150 for those tough tasks, a sleek Ford Mustang, or a versatile Escape for your daily commute? Price Ford has a comprehensive selection for every need and budget. Our knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect vehicle that fits your lifestyle and budget. Price Ford, next to Walmart in Port Angeles, or priceford.com.
It's time for your monthly Market Minute with critical insights from local real estate pro May Graves.
Hi, May Graves here, realtor, broker, and orchestrator. What does that mean? Think of it like conducting a symphony, only instead of musicians, I work with painters, cleaners, movers, stagers, landscapers, and contractors. Selling a home involves more than just listing it online. It's about preparing it thoughtfully, coordinating each detail, and keeping the process on track so nothing falls out of tune. My passion is to make sure every part of your experience, from preparing your home to close of sale, comes together smoothly and in harmony. If you're curious about the process, call me, May Graves, Real Estate Market Pros, hyper-local, data-driven results. 360-461-1922.
End-of-life decisions are hard. Be it pre-planning or sudden loss, you need to have an advocate in your corner, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend Drennan & Ford Funeral Home and Crematory in Port Angeles, the only locally owned funeral home and crematory in Clallam County. Their expertise ensures a smooth process so you can focus on healing and being with your loved ones. Their help through the darkest time in my life will forever stay with me. Call 360-457-1210.
Your birth experience should feel like yours. Come meet the midwives who can make that happen. Meet Our Midwives is a free monthly open house at Olympic Medical Center, where you can get to know our certified nurse midwives, tour our birth center, and start planning the birth that feels right for you. Join us the first Tuesday of every month at 5:30 p.m. in the Olympic Memorial Hospital Sunroom. Learn more at olympicmedical.org/meetourmidwives.
Building a future, sharing a dream, working together, we're on the same team.
Are you tired of paying high interest rates on your consumer loans? Look no further than Straight View Credit Union. We're proud to offer the best consumer loan rates in Clallam County, so you can borrow what you need without breaking the bank. Whether you're looking to purchase a new car, make home improvements, or consolidate debt, we've got you covered. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff will guide you through the loan process and help you find a payment plan that works for your budget. Plus, as a member-owned cooperative, we prioritize your financial well-being well-being over profits. Join us today and experience the Straight View Credit Union difference. Visit us online at svcu.com or in person to apply for your consumer loan today. Insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Join us for Healthy Kids Day, happening April 18th from 10 to 1 at all Olympic Peninsula YMCA branches. Our free, family-friendly event is packed with fun. Navigate through obstacle courses, camp activities, wellness challenges, live demos, and more. Plus, register for our brand new summer specialty camps. No sign-up needed. Just show up and bring the whole family. Don't miss out on free goodie bags while supplies last. For more details, visit OlympicPeninsulaYMCA.org. See you there.
Olympic Hot Tub Sweet Spring Savings Event is here. Now through April 14th, thanks to incredible factory discounts, you can save up to $16,500 on an amazing endless pool swim spa. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
When your event matters, the band you choose matters even more. For corporate events, private parties, fundraisers, celebrations, Black Diamond Junction delivers live music, polished, professional, and memorable. Classic hits spanning rock, pop, and country, the songs your guests know, love, and actually dance to. BDJ isn't background music. We create energy, elevate the room, and help your event feel first class from start to finish. With years of experience in corporate and private settings, Black Diamond Junction is known for showing up prepared, sounding great, and working seamlessly with your venue and timeline. Premium entertainment, priced fairly, an investment that shows on the dance floor and in the experience your guests will remember. Dates are limited and fill quickly. Visit blackdiamondjunction.com or find Black Diamond Junction on Facebook to check availability and book your event today. Black Diamond Junction, professional sound, crowd-pleasing hits, worth every note.
The North Olympic Peninsula's news station. News Radio KONP Port Angeles Squim, AM 1450, FM 101.7 and 101.3, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. With less than 3 hours left before President Trump's deadline expires for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz or face military strikes on its infrastructure, a possible extension is being considered, according to the White House. Pakistan's prime minister has asked President Trump for the extension. Earlier, President Trump also escalated threats to wipe out Iran's entire civilization if a deal is not made. ABC's Jonathan Karl says the words echo another militant groups after the 9/11 attacks.
The rhetoric that you heard coming from al-Qaeda was about ending civilization, Western civilization. To hear an American president talking about ending a civilization